Welcome back to the embedTalk podcast, your companion for practical insights on engineering, tech, careers, and the mindset you need to grow. Every week, we break down real-world concepts and experiences to help you understand, learn, and make smarter choices for your future. In today's episode, we're diving into an important topic, so let's transition into the main conversation, presented in a narrative format designed to help you connect with the ideas more clearly.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to really understanding what's shaping our world. Today, we're plunging into a topic that isn't just, on the horizon. It's here. It's actively transforming how we work, live, even learn. Automation. It's not sci-fi anymore. It's real, and honestly, it's moving at warp speed. So our mission for this deep dive is to cut through all that noise you hear, the headlines screaming, robots are taking our jobs, or promising some kind of fully automated paradise. We want to get to the nuanced truth. What does automation really mean for jobs, for the skills you need, for the future of work? We've pulled together a ton of great sources, research, industry reports to give you the clearest picture possible. Think of this as your guide to navigating this evolving landscape with a bit more confidence. We'll tackle some common fears, and I promise, highlight some genuinely surprising opportunities along the way.
And just to set the stage, what's really striking is how widespread this already is. It's quite foundational now, the data we looked at. It confirms over half of businesses globally are already using some form of automation. Could be complex AI, could be simpler robotics. And it's definitely not slowing down. Nearly all major companies, they're planning to seriously ramp up their AI investments pretty soon. So yeah, it's not just a trend, it's really becoming a core part of how businesses operate.
That's a huge snapshot right there. Really shows the scale. So let's unpack that. How exactly is automation being used in workplaces today? Because like you said, it's not just robots on a factory floor anymore, is it?
Not at all, no. Businesses everywhere are integrating these tools, making tech really fundamental to their day-to-day. Yes, robotics are still vital in manufacturing, obviously, but the big shift, it's the AI-powered software showing up in offices. And this isn't just basic stuff. It's AI using algorithms, learning from data, predicting things, even automating complex decisions, stuff that kind of mimics human thinking.
So it's really penetrating everywhere then, pretty much every sector.
Exactly. You see it very clearly in departments like HR and finance. Those repetitive tasks like simple data entry, employee onboarding steps, maybe scheduling meetings, software's taking that on now. And the idea is to free up the human teams, right? Let them focus on more strategic, higher value work instead of getting bogged down in the routine stuff.
Okay. And it's not just about what companies are doing, right?
Yeah.
It's how the workers are reacting. And this part I found really interesting because it seems to challenge some of those initial fears people have. Our sources suggest most workers, well, they're aware of these AI tools, and actually a lot of them would use them more if they just had decent training.
Right. The training gap is real.
And here's the kicker. Those who are already using automation, they're reporting improved job satisfaction. That feels almost counterintuitive to that whole robots taking over narrative, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it brings up that critical question. If it makes workers happier, does that mean it's still getting rid of jobs? But the reality, and our sources are pretty consistent on this, it's more nuanced. It's not that machines just erase jobs entirely. It's much more complex. Automation tends to reshape roles. It takes over the mundane parts, often allowing people to, level up.
Yeah, level up. How so?
To focus on higher value stuff,
Sure.
more creative tasks, decision-making, things that need a human touch, either within their existing job or maybe moving into new roles.
Okay, so it's more like a redefinition, an evolution within a role maybe, rather than just poof, it's gone. What does that shifting landscape actually look like on the ground? Can you give a bit more detail on how roles get reshaped practically?
Sure. Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, roles are definitely being redefined to include more tech-driven tasks. Think about, say, an accountant. Maybe they spend less time manually punching in numbers and more time analyzing financial trends that an AI has flagged. So workers are supported by automation, right? It helps them become more efficient, do more faster, maybe with fewer errors. And crucially, whole new jobs are popping up. Positions needed to manage, monitor, and even develop these automated systems. I mean, think about titles like AI ethicist or prompt engineer. These jobs barely existed just a few years back.
Wow, okay, that paints a much more optimistic picture than, a lot of the headlines you read. Are you saying automation might actually create more jobs than it eliminates?
Well, the global data we've seen does suggest that. While, yeah, some jobs, particularly highly repetitive ones, might be phased out, an even greater number of new roles could be created. The emphasis is really shifting away from manual repetition towards tasks needing uniquely human skills, judgment, creativity, collaboration, problem solving. That's where people really shine and become more valuable, not less.
That makes a lot of sense. So, okay, if roles are changing that much, it brings up the inevitable question. What skills do we actually need? What skills will help people thrive in this automated future? It sounds like there's a real urgency here for individuals.
There is, absolutely. Our sources are very clear on this point. By the end of this decade, a lot of current skills, they might become obsolete because of automation. That puts significant pressure on individuals and on our education systems, too, to adapt and adapt quickly.
So which skills are becoming absolutely essential then? Is it all about learning to code, or is there more to it?
Technical skills are definitely crucial, yes. Things like IT, data analysis, understanding how to use these AI tools effectively. It's becoming baseline in many fields. But this might surprise some people. What's equally important, maybe even more so in some ways, is the growing value of human-centric skills.
Wow, the soft skills.
Exactly, though I think that term undersells them sometimes. We're talking about communication, empathy, critical thinking, complex decision-making. These are the qualities that machines, well, they just can't replicate, at least not authentically.
Okay, so what does this mean for you listening right now? As an individual trying to navigate this, it sounds like continuous learning isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's like a fundamental survival skill now.
Precisely. Employees really need to embrace continuous learning, embrace adaptability if they want to thrive. Those who are open to picking up new skills, who proactively try to understand how tech can enhance their work, who are willing to grow with these changes, they'll likely find more opportunities, not fewer. It's really about seeing your career as an ongoing journey of development.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more then. Let's talk specific jobs. Which jobs do our sources predict will actually thrive by, say, 2030? Because knowing where the growth is, that's definitely half the battle, isn't it?
Absolutely. And several industries and job types are expected to grow significantly, precisely because they blend technology with human insight really well. First, the obvious one, tech and programming. Huge demand for developers, data scientists, AI specialists. That's not going away.
Makes perfect sense. What other sectors are looking strong?
Healthcare is another major one. Look, AI isn't going to replace doctors or nurses, but it will assist them dramatically. Think about AI helping scan medical images to spot early signs of disease or optimizing patient care schedules. It helps them do their jobs better.
Okay, what else?
Green energy and sustainability, that's a big growth area. Roles focused on ethical, eco-friendly practices are expanding, and automation helps manage resources more efficiently there. And maybe counterintuitively again, education and training itself.
Because people need to learn all these new skills.
Exactly. As skills keep evolving, educators and trainers will be critical in reskilling the current workforce and preparing the next generation.
Wow. So schools, training providers, they have a massive responsibility here. It really feels like an urgent educational imperative.
It truly is. They need to equip students not just with the technical know-how, but also with those crucial human-centric skills. Creativity, problem-solving, adaptability. Those are really the foundations for a resilient workforce in the future.
Let's dive a bit deeper into some of those industry impacts you mentioned. Starting with healthcare, you said AI assists doctors and nurses. How does that actually play out day to day for them?
Well, what's fascinating there is how automation can handle things like scheduling appointments efficiently, managing vast amounts of patient data securely, even helping with diagnostics. For example, AI can analyze patient data incredibly quickly, identify patterns, maybe suggest potential treatment paths based on the latest research. This frees up doctors and nurses to spend more quality time on direct patient interaction, on complex care, rather than getting swamped by administrative tasks. So these AI tools genuinely help them make faster, often more accurate decisions.
Okay. And manufacturing, that's a sector that's had automation for decades. What's different now? It used to be all about the physical robots.
It did. But it's evolved. It's moved beyond simply replacing physical labor. Now there's a growing need for skilled workers who can actually operate, maintain, and troubleshoot these really advanced, complex, automated systems. So it's a shift towards more knowledge-based roles, even on the factory floor. Less about repetitive heavy lifting, more about programming the robots, ensuring quality control, using data for predictive maintenance on the machines.
Right. Using your brain more than just your brawn.
Exactly.
And what about banking and finance? That already feels so data-driven. How's AI changing things there?
Oh, it's transforming operations from the ground up. Think about sophisticated fraud detection. AI can spot tiny, unusual patterns in massive data sets almost instantly. Things a human analyst might never catch. Yeah, and also powering virtual assistants for customer service, automating loan processing, lots of areas. And while, yes, some back office functions, maybe data entry roles might shrink, there's a big surge in demand for roles in cybersecurity and compliance, making sure all this automation and data handling follows the rules, ethically and legally, and in advanced data analytics. It's all about managing and securing the data that fuels these systems.
This all leaves us to think about job security in this age of automation. If roles are shifting so much, what does job security even mean anymore? It sounds like the definition itself is changing.
It absolutely is changing, yeah. Job security today, it's less about clinging on to one specific role forever. It's much more about your adaptability, your commitment to continuous learning. It means actively investing in new skills, especially those tech-related ones we talked about, but also the people-focused ones to stay relevant and valuable as the landscape keeps evolving. Your security really comes from your ability to learn and pivot.
But it's not all smooth sailing, is it? Our sources also pointed out some potential downsides to this rapid shift. What are some of those areas needing careful thought?
Unfortunately, yes, there are concerns. While the benefits can be huge, we also need to acknowledge things like reports of increased electronic monitoring of work. For some employees, this can really ramp up stress, that feeling of being constantly watched or evaluated.
Like Big Brother is watching your keystrokes.
Kind of. And there are also valid concerns being raised about fairness, how these monitoring systems might impact different groups of workers or create new kinds of digital oversight.
So companies have a real responsibility here then. It's not just about chasing productivity numbers.
Exactly. It's absolutely essential for companies to use this technology responsibly. They need to prioritize worker well-being, foster a supportive environment, not just focus solely on operational efficiency gains. That human element has to remain central.
That leads us to a really critical point. If adaptability is the name of the game, how do organizations actually prepare their people for this constant evolution? How do they effectively train the workforce for what's coming?
Well, the successful organizations, the ones navigating this well, they understand they must invest in their people. It's not optional. This means providing comprehensive training programs, not just one-off workshops, but ongoing support. Helping employees not just pick up new skills, but also understand how their roles are evolving and see clear paths for advancement within the company. It's about empowering them to grow with the technology, not feel threatened or left behind by it.
So what does that training look like? What are some effective strategies that actually work on the ground?
Good strategies include, well, ongoing training and workshops, definitely, but also fostering things like mentoring and peer-to-peer learning. Establishing clear growth paths is vital, too, for both tech and non-tech roles. People need to see where they can go. And it means actively supporting the development of both sets of skills, the hard technical skills, and those vital, soft, human-centric skills we discussed. Ultimately, the goal should be to integrate learning right into the workplace culture. Make it a continuous, natural part of the job.
So it's about building a genuine culture of learning, not just ticking a box with a training course once a year.
Yes, precisely. When companies do that, they can really alleviate a lot of the anxieties around automation.
Right.
And they cultivate teams that are more resilient, more adaptable, and ultimately better prepared for whatever changes come next. It creates a much more proactive workforce.
Okay, great. So let's try and wrap this up by looking at the really big picture. The overall pros and cons of workplace automation. Let's distill it down. What's fundamentally great about it, based on our sources?
Okay, the benefits are pretty clear and compelling when you look across the board. Automation significantly boosts speed and productivity. That's a big one. It dramatically reduces errors in repetitive tasks and even in some complex decisions. Crucially, it opens up entirely new job roles that just didn't exist before. For many, it can actually enhance work-life balance by taking away the mundane, repetitive tasks. And ultimately, it often improves service quality for customers through better data, faster processes.
Those are some really strong advantages. But what about the flip side? What are the major cautions or challenges we need to keep in mind?
Right, the cautions. We definitely need to acknowledge that automation can lead to job displacement in specific sectors, especially for roles heavy on routine tasks. That's a real impact for some people. It also has the potential to increase the gap between highly skilled workers who can leverage automation and those whose skills might become obsolete. This puts pressure back on education systems to adapt very quickly. And while not inherently negative, there are reported concerns about a widening tech divide between richer and poorer regions globally. Plus, those ethical concerns around surveillance and algorithmic decision-making need careful management.
Okay, so pulling this all together,
Yeah.
what does this mean for you, our listener, as we bring this deep dive to a close? What's the main takeaway here?
I think the main thing is this. Automation is undeniably here, and it's here to stay. But it doesn't have to be this scary, ominous future. It's fundamentally a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, its impact really depends on how we choose to use it, how we manage its integration.
That's absolutely right. The future of work, it seems, won't be about machines replacing people wholesale. It's more likely about people working smarter, supported by technology. Jobs will evolve, skills will definitely transform, and yes, new opportunities will emerge, especially for those willing to adapt. So, the key to success, it sounds like staying curious, proactively building skills that complement technology, those human skills especially, and really trying to embrace change rather than fearing it. Automation isn't the end of human work. It's probably just the next chapter. And maybe the final thought for you to consider is, what could that chapter specifically mean for your role or your industry? How can you actively start shaping it? What new skills could you explore right now? What automated tools might actually empower your work rather than threaten it? The future isn't just something that happens to us. We all have a hand in creating it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the embedTalk podcast. If you enjoyed today's insights, don't forget to follow or subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Share this episode with someone who might find it useful and help us grow this learning community. For more articles, quizzes, and deep dives into engineering, business, and emerging technologies, visit us at embedtalk.com. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and continue exploring the future with embedTalk.